So I'm just going to turn around now so you can see the steps that we have. We have the two-headed serpent, we have the full Nelson break, and then we have the break free from the grab on the side. And then after that, I would just practice that a bunch of times until you feel really solid before you do the next sequence that we'll learn. So let me just show you those parts. I'm just going to go slow. So we went away from the guy when he grabbed us, we moved back away into a cat, pulled our hands back, and then we stepped in. In this case, we're stepping in toward 3 o'clock. We did the outward block punch to break free. So just doing that over and over would be great. The next part of the form, guy's grabbing you from the neck from behind. Could be the shoulders. More commonly, I think it'd be the neck. Very dangerous attack. Pretty common. Somebody sneaks up behind you, kind of like a predator. They're going to go for the easiest thing that they can know would be most detrimental, which would be your neck. So this is a technique where you use your tricep, come up. You have a lot of leverage using this part of your arm. Come up over their hands, twist your body using your core muscles, and you're able to knock the hands off of your neck. It's a big, you want to get your elbow to go way up past your face, big arc. And then your hand comes back to a set position. And you have the push-pull. As that pulls back, the other one pushes in and fires a rigid claw to the eyes. Very effective. So rigid claw is like a spear hand, and then just move your fingers apart. And having your fingers bent a little bit so that they're not going to get jammed. You're going right into the eyes. So let me show you that part. So we're going out toward 3 o'clock. Did the block punch. We're going to take our left foot, step forward toward 12 o'clock with an instep step or cross step. And bring our hands back to our left hip, hidden hand technique. We're going to rotate around, big circle, and then cross the face, break the grip, and then rigid claw to the eyes. Next thing from there, come back to a guard to protect as your right hand fires a reverse punch into the solar plexus. From there, you're going to come up even a little higher with a reverse punch to the jaw. So maybe if that wasn't effective, you weren't in position, you still have a secondary target, the jaw. And then if you're still close, may not be at this point, but if you're still close, you raise up with an elbow to the jaw, making your fist touch your back. So you're really raising your elbow really high, and you're pivoting at the same time. You do the reverse punch to the jaw into a horse. Staying in the horse as you do the elbow to the chin, and then you're going to rotate around to a hard bow, turning your back towards your opponent, and you're going to fire a hammer fist to the groin. Knocked his head back, groin comes forward, strike the groin with a hammer fist. So that's a crash of the eagle technique. You break the grip, rigid claw to the eyes, reverse punch. This is all going out, by the way, towards 6 o'clock, toward the back of where you started the kata. Reverse punch, then horse stance, reverse punch, elbow to the jaw, pivot, hammer fist to the groin. You then move towards 6 o'clock with your left foot into a left cat. As you do the cat stance, your left hand grabs onto the wrist. What's happening is your opponent has grabbed your right wrist with their right wrist. We call it a crossing talon type of a grab. And you're just putting your hand on top for control. We call that getting the upper hand, so they can't use that weapon to hit you or choke you. You're grabbing, and you're using a chopping motion into their wrist joint to break the grip, followed by your own grab, counter grab. We call that a rolling wrist grab. And then you're going to step in to a horse stance with your left foot, side horse stance, is you come down on the back of his elbow. You're pulling his arm, and you're coming down on the back of his elbow, and you're breaking his arm. You're making his arm bend the wrong way, hyperextending it. From there, you fire an elbow coming in sideways towards 6 o'clock to the temple, and you're pulling the guy into that. So the arms are kind of pulling away from each other. You're pulling with your right, elbowing with your left. Then you're going to take your forearm and you're going to drive down over the broken arm like a saw. That's used to bring the guy further down out of control. Very painful to hit those nerves after you already broke it. Elbow, drive down, big circle way up over your head, and then an elbow drop coming down into the spine. Again, you can pull the guy a little bit to get him into position. Elbow drop just comes down vertically. It's going to hit him in the thoracic spine, right between the shoulder blades. And if you ever do a lot of brick breaking or board breaking, you know that if you have to break a big stack, one of the most effective means is an elbow drop, because it has tons of leverage, and it's probably one of the most powerful weapons that you have for close-in fighting. So that's a good technique. It's crossing talon. It's done towards 6 o'clock. I did the crash of the eagle, rigid claw, reverse punch, elbow to the chin, hammer fist to the groin. Then I stepped into a left cat, trapped his hand, rolling wrist grab, stepped in, broke his arm, elbow to the temple, circle over his arm, elbow to the back. The next technique is a sumo attack, like a sumo wrestler grabs by the belt. This attacker is grabbing you low, could be trying to get into your pockets, could be his hands are just low, or he might actually be grabbing your belt. What you want to do is stay in the same horse stance, but then bring your hands in toward your rib cage and then drive 2 fists down. Used to come down and break the grip using the outside of your fist and your arm, coming down like a wedge into the inside of his wrist. Lower your horse stance at the same time. That drops your body weight behind it. Gives you a lot of power to get his hands off of you in your pockets or on your belt. Break free. So you did the elbow to the spine, and then you break free. Then you're going to bring your hands into a set position as you fire a right side kick. We're using a speed thrust kick, toes curled up. Could be a knife edge kick would work too with toes down, but the form we're going to go toes up. Side kick into the inside of his right knee. So it's a really low kick. It blows out the inside of the right knee, either breaking the leg or at least getting him off balance. Usually when I teach the form though, I'll have students fire pretty high, like rib level, because I'm using the kata for developmental reasons. I want them to get stronger body. I want them to have the lower horse stance than they really need in a fight, and even higher kicks than they really need in a fight. Kind of overdoing the training with the understanding that the adrenaline during combat makes the muscles tense up. Kicks will not be as high as they were in practice. Stances will come up higher than they were, so we're kind of overtraining. So when we do the kata, we show it. Let's do it rib level. Sometimes in competition, to get extra points from the judge, you'll see practitioners do it head level, even higher than the head. It wouldn't work in a fight, but it does look pretty impressive for a movie or in a demonstration or in a tournament. So that's the sumo. We break his grip, we fire the side kick as our hands come back into a set position, and then we land in a horse stance with our right foot going in the same direction that our kick went. So we were lined up when we did crossing talon, our left foot going out towards 6 o'clock, our right foot going out toward 12 o'clock. We stayed there during the sumo technique. We broke free, but as we fire the kick, we fire that kick not toward 12 o'clock, but out toward 45 degrees, which would be about 10:30. And right as the kick locks, that's when you do the set position. So the hands stay out for a while, and then you fire the kick, and then you'll see it. Let me move back here a little bit. So we're in the horse stance, did the elbow to the spine, punches. So we'll go set position, thrust kick, and then we'll go horse. Come back into a crane, we'll go horse toward 45 degrees. Right as our foot lands, we're going to fire 2 heel of hands coming in Feels like a hugging motion, but you're hitting in behind the guy into his two kidneys down below his ribs. You're hitting and coming through. Hit, come through. And then from there, you're going to fire 2 punches. So you did the side kick about rib level in the kata. You landed toward 45 degrees, about 10:30. And as you landed, you did 2 heel of hands. And then you're going to do 2 punches side by side. Those are going out toward the other 45-degree angle. So that's out at about 7:30. 2 punches into the groin. Then you come back, you fire 2 middle knuckle fists stacked on top of each other. That's going to hit a mid-body solar plexus. So you went groin, came back, solar plexus, come back, and then you go up to the eyes. We think that those shots down low make the guy bend over, so the eye darts will be coming up to meet his head coming down and drive the guy back. So that's a little technique too. The guy grabs you low, you break his grip, kick out his knee, strike his kidneys, strike his groin, strike his solar plexus, strike his eyes, and you're done with that technique. And then it's going to move into another really cool technique called headlock. Headlock is where someone's taken their arm from behind, their right arm, and they've snuck up behind you and they've grabbed you and pulled you down. They're starting to press in on your carotid artery jugular vein complex or your throat. They're trying to knock you out. So this technique is a way to get out of a headlock. So again, pretty cool techniques. They're all grabbing, some type of grab. And it's just a way to practice these techniques. And also, katas give us a sense of what it would be like to be attacked by multiple opponents. We have to be able to transfer from one to the next really quick. Of course, in a real fight, we don't know how we're going to be attacked by a group. There's no way to tell. But it does give us an inkling or a feel of how we can do quick transitions in a multiple attack situation. So let's review that again. So we finished crossing Talon here. Did the elbow to the spine, double punches, do the side kick toward 45 degrees, set position, land, double heel of hands. We're going to go groin, solar plexus, eyes. So we're going to go through, pop, 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 1, 2, 3. Pretty quick, fast way to stop them. Then your left foot is going to step out toward the corner, which again is about 10:30. Raise up your hands, land in a horse stance, and fire 2 hammer fists. The left hammer fist is kind of low to the groin. Right hammer fist is a little bit higher to the kidney. So you're hitting the front and the back of the guy at the same time to make him let go of his headlock. That hurts bad, so probably will let go. You made him think about something else rather than you. After you hit him, you're at 45 degrees toward the corner. Left hand comes into a guard for protection. Right hand comes up over and grabs into the face. Trying to get your fingers into the eyes because that hurts so bad. You're going to try to peel his head back so he lets go of you and you expose some of his front targets. So from the hammer fist, guard, show a big grab, and then peel the head back. Use a hard bow, left hard bow, come into a set position as you fire a heel of hands. So you get that push-pull. That's going to go to the jaw. So you peel his head back and you hit him right here in the jaw. So with that full turning of your body with using your core muscles, your leg muscles, and your arm combined, hitting with that hard part of your body, the heel of hand that does not give way because it's supported by bone, into a delicate part of the body, the jaw, and knock the guy way back. Very likely he'll be knocked out. Hit the mandible really hard like that, it sends a shock wave back into the cranium. It's almost like if you took out the brain and you just punched the guy in the brain. Can't really do that, but it's similar, the amount of impact. When you hit the skull really fast because of Sir Isaac Newton's laws of physics, that a body at rest stays at rest, a body in motion is put into motion. The skull suddenly is put into rapid motion, but the brain, sitting in the CSF, the cerebral spinal fluid, it doesn't move at the same rate. It has inertia, it just wants to stay where it is. So the skull smacks up against the brain tissue, and the brain, kind of a gelatinous type substance, it'll compress, and that causes capillaries to burst, all kinds of problems. But the opponent would go unconscious and they'd be knocked back, and they would have opened up all their frontal targets. So that's a good technique. Somebody's got you in the headlock, you step, you hit them in the groin and the kidney, grab them by a sensitive part of their body, the eyes, peel the head back. Hard bow gives you a lot of power. Push pull, heel of hand into the jaw. Weird thing we do though is we hit the jaw in kata 5 is rather than a set, the right goes behind your back. And that's trying to show the next technique. As you're hitting the one guy, somebody else grabs your wrist and pulls your arm back behind you and puts you in an arm lock. So that could happen in a fight. You're fighting one guy and all of a sudden you're attacked. When you're hitting the one guy, you're already being attacked by somebody else. So you're hitting the jaw and your hand goes behind you, showing the arm lock. Let me move over here so you can see better.